At the turn of the millennium, the movies were big business. And over the next 10 years, these actors really made the industry their own. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 decade-defining actors of the 2000s.
Gandalf.
Yes, I'm here.
For our series on the top 10 decade-defining male actors per period, we've made our choices based on a combination of their commercial success, their box office scores, their productivity, their awards, and how they helped set the tone and raise the standard in Hollywood for the era.
Until Chinese New Year, wait for my man to cry.
Number 10, Robert Downey Jr.
I am Iron Man.
This man staged a rise back to superstardom across the first decade of this century. In 2000, he was in and out of jail and rehab, battling addictions to all manner of substances.
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
But by 2010, he was a leading face of the Marvel franchise and a blockbusting international hero.
Iron Man, that's kind of catchy. It's got a nice ring to it. I mean, it's not technically accurate. The suit's a gold titanium alloy, but it's kind of evocative, the imagery.
Downey Jr.'s credentials have always been apparent. After all, he earned an Oscar nomination for his role as Charlie Chaplin in 1992. But this decade saw him really flourish. First Iron Man, then Tropic Thunder, then Sherlock Holmes.
Check the ground under the rear windows for any signs of footprints not your own. Data. I cannot make bricks without clay.
And now, he's an inspirational success.
Me and Adam dropped character till I done a DVD commentary.
And, this time around, I know what I'm fighting for.
Number 9, Russell Crowe.
At my signal, unleash hell.
Much of Russell Crowe's success came in the early 2000s, but he remained a much sought-after actor throughout the decade and into the next.
So what am I now, a spy?
In Gladiator, his performance as Maximus gained maximum attention, and he picked up the Academy Award for Best Actor.
Are you not entertained?
The following year, he starred in a slightly more subdued role as troubled genius John Nash, and again received critical acclaim.
I don't exactly know what I'm required to say in order for you to have intercourse with me.
He became a national hero, was awarded the Australian Centenary Medal, and is now honored with a place on our top 10.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance.
Squeeze in if you can, left leg, right leg, your body will follow. They call it walking.
Number 8, Jason Statham.
Seat belts.
This tough guy owes his big break to director Guy Ritchie, who cast Statham first as Bacon in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and then as Turkish in his violent flick Snatch. The latter was released in 2000, and Statham soon became the face and voice of 21st century action movies.
I'm the Terminator.
He appeared in the title role of the Transporter 3 times, took the lead in another Ritchie film, Revolver, and even showed his funny side in Crank. He's an all-singing, all-dancing, all-beating us up action star.
I'm alive! I'm alive!
Number 7, Ian McKellen.
I will bring you home, old friend. And I ask only one thing in return. Don't get in my way.
He's one of the more mature actors on our countdown. And while it's true that Ian McKellen's career isn't limited to the 2000s, it certainly was a decade in which he excelled. At the turn of the century, he was cast as the villainous Magneto in X-Men.
You sure you saw what you saw?
And 1 year after that, he appeared as heroic Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings.
Blimey, you fools!
Switching between the very bad and the very good, he did so with versatility, style, and apparent ease.
You shall not pass!
Number 6, Seth Rogen.
I'm in.
Director Judd Apatow and the frat pack group of actors that dominated comedy during the 2000s really pushed the genre into the future. People like Steve Carell, Paul Rudd and Owen Wilson deserve recognition, but Seth Rogen did more than most to set the sophomoric standard.
All the time, man, like every day. I wonder how you like me.
Films like Knocked Up and Pineapple Express took everyday characters and situations and turned them into side-splitting hilarity.
A policewoman and a guy, another guy shot another guy, an Asian guy, in the window at Ted's house.
Superbad was also super good. And just think, it's a movie Rogen wrote while in high school. This guy's a joking genius.
How? Say when, height-wise.
I'm gonna start up here, just tell me when.
I'll start in the bottom. And...
Number 5, George Clooney.
Now, this is going to be a little difficult, so stay with me.
He made it onto this list through acting ability alone, though in truth, he's an all-round cinema supremo. George Clooney was a big name before this century, but he became even bigger within the first few years of it.
I knew what I was doing.
Ocean's 11 gave him a lead role in a film that grossed $450 million and spawned 2 sequels.
Counting down from 20. No.
Michael Clayton earned him an Oscar nomination, and Syriana earned him an Oscar victory.
If anything happens to me or my family, an accident, an accusation, anything, then first your son will disappear. His body will never be found. Then your wife. Her body will never be found either. Now, this is guaranteed.
He's since branched out into writing, directing, producing, everything. He's smooth, sexy, and hugely successful.
Play long enough, you never change the stakes, the house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
Number 4, Will Ferrell.
Ow! Oh! Yes! That's awesome!
The Frat Pack has already been featured on this list, but their rowdiest representative has yet to be heard from.
We're good! Streaky! Yes!
Will Ferrell's impact on popular comedy movies cannot be understated.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
His screaming, screeching, mad, bad, honest, and outrageous brand of humor has set the tone for everyone else. He's someone who just can't help being funny, and he must be a director's dream. After his Saturday Night Live days, Old School set him in motion, and Elf, Anchorman, and countless others snowballed this guy to stardom.
I love scotch. Scotch has got scotch.
Except no imitations, there is only one.
Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town. Santa!
Number 3, Christian Bale.
I guess I'm a pretty, I guess I'm a pretty sick guy.
This man's rise to the top has been far from easy.
Don't I look okay?
Christian Bale does not shy away from a role when he believes the film is good enough.
If you were any thinner, you wouldn't exist. No.
He has great acting ability and has shown constant dedication to his characters.
There is an idea of a Patrick Bateman, some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me, only an entity, something illusory. And though I can hide my cold gaze, and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not there.
For American Psycho, he spent months honing the Olympian physique of Patrick Bateman. 4 years later, he lost over 60 pounds within months for The Machinist, before gaining 100 pounds to play Batman.
You're either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It's a tremendous effort. They're tremendous films, and he's a tremendous actor.
Listen very, very carefully. I killed Paul Allen. And I liked it.
Bene.
Number 2, Daniel Day-Lewis.
On my challenge, by the ancient laws of combat, we are met at this chosen ground to settle for good and all. Who holds sway over the 5 points?
Like Christian Bale, Daniel Day-Lewis has done more than most to meet the demands of his characters. An advocate of method acting, In 2002, he lived the violent life of Bill the Butcher for Gangs of New York.
I'm New York. Don't you never come in here empty-handed again.
And in 2007, he was oil prospector Daniel Plainview in There Will Be Blood.
Out of all men that beg for a chance to drill your lodge, maybe 1 in 20 will be oil men. The rest will be speculators. That's men trying to get between you and the oil men to get some of the money that ought by rights come to you.
Receiving numerous awards, including an Oscar, he barely came out of character for the duration of filming. For Gangs of New York, he almost refused treatment for pneumonia because he believed it was ill-fitting for the period. That's hardcore.
Stop crying, you sniveling ass. Stop your nonsense. You're just the afterbirth, Eli.
No.
Slithered out on your mother's filth.
No.
They should have put you in a glass jar on a mantelpiece.
Before we unveil our pick for decade-defining actor of the 2000s, here are a few honorable mentions.
Down, nipple. Oh, Mika, you should burn in hell.
Okay, all right, no, seriously, I think I'm done.
I used to drag here back in high school. That railroad crossing up there is exactly a quarter mile away from here. On Green, I'm going for it. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
I do not know what strength is in my blood, but I swear to you, I will not let the White City fall.
Number 1, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Can you beat that?
The list of critically acclaimed box office hits that he racked up within the first decade of the 2000s is more than most actors achieve in a lifetime.
I think so.
Kicking things off with The Beach, he went on to play serial fraudster Frank Abagnale.
I'm a doctor.
And started a lasting partnership with Martin Scorsese in 2002.
All right, let's kiss goodnight to that pretty young face of yours.
His portrayal of aviation pioneer Howard Hughes won him a Golden Globe Award. The Departed earned him another nod, and in 2008, he won even more acclaim for his role in Revolutionary Road.
Actually, it's sort of a stupid job, really. There's nothing interesting about it at all.
He's the modern-day movie star, classical and cutting edge, and a role model for his generation.
It's not the money, it's it's more of a personal thing. I hope you understand.
Do you agree with our list? Which 2000s actor do you think is the most iconic?
When you leave this building, you will be endowed with all my powers.
For more classic top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Was that so hard? That was fun, right?